What's going on, everybody? It's Innocent from Big Guilty Cigar Podcast. I am joined by my good friend Jessica. You may know
Hello.
her from her husband Kevin, the cigar prop. Or if you are in these, you work at the Saratoga store, right?
Yeah, the
No.
Sarasota Corona store.
Yep. If you
Yeah.
go to Saratoga Corona, you know Jess because she's there helping you
Yeah.
guys out all the time.
Yep.
So, you know, that's the first that's kind of the first thing I really wanted to jump into was just the change, just as far as you being from social media to actually working in the industry now,
Right.
working at Corona. How's it been?
I mean, we went from, doing our own cigar product and just doing it from
Yes.
home and it being like a family thing. And then
Yeah.
obviously do like the media and the events and stuff. Going into a lounge, especially a lounge that was brand new from ground up, like
Yeah.
literally like it was empty and we filled it,
Yeah.
uh, was an experience for sure. I think I have like a way bigger new like appreciation for people who work in lounges.
Yeah.
Um, like
I believe that.
like I've been to quite a few different lounges, and obviously, Corona, does what they consider like the ultimate experience.
Yeah.
Like you will not find too many lounges that are like Coronas. And they have 5 locations total, 3 in Orlando, 1 in Tampa, now 1 in Sarasota,
Yeah.
Florida. And this one is probably like a little bit bigger in the sense that it has its own VIP lounge. So it has a whole separate
Mm,
upstairs lounge for locker members. And that was the
mm.
first that they've ever done this. They don't have that at any other of their lounges. So this was like a new experience too for that, since none of the other stores have that. But now Tampa has just officially like renovated. They had like like a space, kind of like a smaller space
Yeah.
upstairs at the Tampa one. Now that one is the JC Newman VIP lounge. So they just did that,
Mm.
and then they just had their re-grand opening because now it's it's a Diamond Crown Lounge now, no more Davidoff. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah, I heard about that. That's very
yeah,
interesting to go from Davidoff to now to go to Diamond Crown. You know,
yeah. They already
like
had it. They have another Diamond Crown one too in Orlando
okay,
of the lounge. Yeah. So
yeah,
ours is the El Septimo, and then
mm,
there's a Monte Cristo, the Diamond Crown, Drew Estate, and then now again another Diamond Crown, which was in Tampa.
okay, yeah, nice. Like
Yeah.
so, like being there and just seeing how reps work. Like inventory just on how cigars come in, and like you
Mhm.
said, you have a whole newfound respect on just the business side of just the cigar game.
Yeah, because you learn so much too. You learn like really about the product. Okay, like yeah, we
Yeah,
all like cigars, we smoke cigars, and yeah,
yeah,
we can all kind of be cigar nerds, but when you
mm-hmm,
see the other end of it,
mm-hmm,
like it how it comes in, how certain manufacturers and the companies, like how many lines you have to carry for some of them. Some we don't carry that many or at all, like maybe just
mm,
online, because
yeah,
you can only have so many facings in a cigar
exactly, yeah.
lounge. Um, and then it's just, the inventory, the amount of boxes, the displays, keeping track of everything, making sure everything is, the cigars are good. Like, do we rotate them? Do we have to move them? Is this one section of this, the lounge not good for this particular cigar? Because
Mm.
some cigars are not cellophane, some are,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like a
Yeah,
whole process,
yeah. It's a
you know?
science to it.
Yeah.
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 Matt Hashimoto says hello.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah. What's going on, Hash? How you doing, brother? You know, um, like of course. So I'm an unpaid employee at Sanji's. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. That's
yeah.
funny.
So so when
So
stuff
you
comes
you
in,
definitely see it, yeah.
yeah, yes, I see a lot. I see a lot that goes on, and just how just just the purchasing aspect of it. Like you have to in order to be eligible for certain stuff, you have to buy a certain amount of product to be able to get those special deals.
right. And then on top of it too, like sometimes like when we do run deals like online, they do carry over to the store, but we might not have everything that online does. So that
Exactly.
sometimes
Yeah.
gets tricky, and then on top of it, like some people are only allowed to buy one box of something or
Yeah.
like one cigar of something. There are limits on certain things, and that becomes tricky too.
No, that's the hard part because like at at Sanji, we don't hold nothing for nobody. So it's first comes first serve. So
Yeah.
if an asshole wants to come in and buy every single box of of the blood medicine that we got in, he wants to drop all the
Mhm.
money. Well, you guys out of luck.
How do you, yeah, it's kind of it is tricky. So like, obviously for certain things when they're limited runs, yeah, we
Hmm.
can't do that. We can't just let one person just buy it all.
Yeah,
That's why like even with Fuentes, like there are limits,
yeah.
on what you can buy by them. Like that's
Hmm.
their like thing
Their
too is,
protocol. Yeah,
yeah, like most shops are only going to do that. Only
yeah,
going to sell like one or two sticks, of
yeah.
something that's limited.
Speaking of smoking, what are you smoking, Jess? What are you gonna smoke
Well,
tonight?
so Kevin and I had to like figure out how to say this name correctly because I said, Kevin, how would you say this? And he goes, I say it wrong every time. And I smoke these all the time. So I'm smoking the Trinidad es, Esperuti. I don't know. It's
Oh,
spirit.
don't
The
don't worry.
Esperutu.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to say it. And then I Googled it and the YouTube popped up. And so I'm going to play that and it's going to tell us how to say it. So let's
So,
see.
without further ado, let's dive into today's word, espiritu, which
Espirito.
means
So I'm
Espirito.
smoking the
Okay.
Trinidad
Okay.
Espirito, but this one, excuse
Nice.
me, is the series 2. So that's what I'm gonna
Nice.
smoke.
So
Yeah.
I'm smoking the blood medicine, the new one that just came out,
All right.
the Toro.
How's that? How is
Um,
that? How's the
uh,
profile on that?
amazing. Like it to me, it's much better than the Robusto. The
Okay.
Robusto for me wasn't hitting for me for some reason. I wasn't a big fan, and then I smoked this one, and I was like, man, this is amazing.
What's your like normal go-to size for a cigar?
Toro now.
Toro.
It used to be a Robusto because I used to want to just go through and try because anything that comes to the shop I want to try it, and you know the more I'm in there, I'm like, all right, the Toro, that's my size. Either a Toro, but my favorite size is Salomon.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I'm definitely more
I
of a
love a
I
Salomon.
def yeah, see, I definitely like a Robusto. I'm definitely like the
Yeah,
little you know, like firecracker sizes. I'm like a big fan because
yeah,
I'm an impatient smoker. Like I can't sit like some people can. Like
uh-huh.
when I'm at a lounge or something, that's different. Like when I'm relaxing, but when I'm home too, if I'm doing stuff, I don't know. I just don't focus on a bigger
Yeah.
cigar.
Mm.
It has to be like a certain time frame for me, just because my brain doesn't allow me to sit for like 2 hours. I just can't do that and smoke a cigar. I
That's
don't
okay.
know why. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't.
So
Kevin can sit and smoke 20 big cigars all day and be fine.
uh, from what I hear, you have like the stronger of the palates. Like from what I hear,
Yeah.
you go towards the darker, heavier stuff.
No, I do.
And
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Kevin actually has been like he's been smoking a lot more heavier stuff. I think he's
mm,
just now gotten to the point where he knows like when to pull back, or
yeah,
something's kind of like if he knows he's going to smoke something that he's is going to be heavy, maybe
yeah.
make sure he eats before or something. Um, yeah, he still doesn't retro. He doesn't see the purpose of it.
Hmm.
And for me, I like to retro, so I feel
Yeah,
like
I
sometimes
love to
that
retro.
yeah, that gets
You
you
kind of
going
have to
too.
retro. Like that's one of like Sanji's biggest thing. He was like, if you're not retroing the cigar, you're not getting the true flavor of the cigar
Mhm.
because you got so many more senses in your nose. You
Right.
know, you're able to get more flavor notes
I agree
from
with
that.
that. Definitely.
You know, oh, oh So what? So what's been a few go tos now? Because since you're in the shop now, you're
I
smoking so many new things.
so yeah, you would think, right? You really don't get to smoke. Like you're constantly like not attending to your cigar, so it almost makes it unpleasant. So
Yeah.
like unless you're smoking something like short or like you're not really having to take care of a customer and you can kind of enjoy your cigar. I like try not to really smoke anything expensive because then I'm going to be mad because right now I have uh been really digging Alfonso's and their
Mm.
cheapest one is like $42
Oh my
and
god.
yeah, and so like once a week I've been buying one because I mean, it's a fantastic cigar.
Wow.
And yeah, that's not one you just want to be like, oh, I can't get to it. And like
Yeah.
all day it's sat in an ashtray. Then someone comes in and doesn't realize it's yours and knocks it out. It's like they knock it in the ashtray
Yeah.
to like put
That's
it out to dump it. So it's like one of those things where when you're in that setting, yeah, it's almost impossible to really smoke. So
yeah.
then I decided that, oh, maybe I'll smoke some cigarellos, right? That was a mistake because I was like kind of almost using that as like not a cigarette, but it was like
Yeah.
easy. And I
Yeah.
was like, I told Kevin, I was like, I'm addicted to these stupid cigarellos now.
Yeah.
I
Those
hate
those
them.
those
But
black cracks and those
no,
animal crackers.
but I'm buying Davidoff. I'm not even
Yeah.
buying, and they're not cheap. They're like
At all.
$17,
Yeah.
like for a little
Yeah.
pack of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like
And
my like go to just to get like my like a cigar fix in a sense.
exactly. Yeah. You
Yeah.
know.
So there's that.
My go to, like, I don't like is I always butcher. I destroy the name, and like in the same way you say you destroy. The two names I destroy.
Okay.
Tadawate.
Oh, Tatuaje.
Yeah.
Listen, I had to teach myself how to say that properly. That's probably not even the right way.
Yeah.
Someone will tell us we're both wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Is like, and I think it's the La Pesida from Crown Head.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't know how to pronounce that either.
Yeah, like
Just,
I just say I call it the pastry. Me and Rob, we call it the pastry. We go, if just look for the pastry in French. That's it right there.
That's
Like,
awesome.
yeah,
Some of these cigar names, like it's not that I wouldn't be able to pronounce them over time. It's like it's just not something I say often enough. So then I forget, and then I'm like, yeah, I don't know how to say that.
Yeah, and it sucks when people go, oh, what's a good cigar? And you're like, and you end up butchering the name of the cigar.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, what is it called again?
Yeah. So luckily for me though, like we don't have, I mean, most cigars aren't as complicated, to say, but like the nice thing is like, I am a cigar nerd. So it's different than like a tobacconist or someone who's just in the lounge.
Yeah.
We have guys that work there that, they know what to sell. So that's what they push, and that's not a bad thing. But for me, it's kind of like, if someone's really interested in trying something like, oh, I'm like, oh, have you tried this? Like what's in, what else have you tried? Like, let me find something similar. And like, that can be a problem too, though, because then you kind of spend more time trying to get this person to try something else, than just selling them like they're, So, but at least I've gotten people to buy boxes after I had them try something because they're like, oh, I didn't even know this. Like a lot of people didn't know much about Dunbarton and Trust, like Steve Saka or Foundation. Like I was shocked on how many people don't know like anything by Nick Melillo, which I was
oh my Foundation is a killer in our shop.
Yeah, I was like kind of surprised on how many people were just like, oh, I've never had anything like that. I was like, oh, interesting. So there's that.
We can't like our top selling brands in there would probably have to be Foundation. We move a lot of Foundation, a lot of Pordomo.
Okay. Yeah, Perdomos are like your top ones that go. People come in for Olivas, Perdomo. Yeah.
It's pretty funny. We don't move as many Olivas. So like Illusiones, we move some. what's the one with the big damn ring gauge now? Well, with from
Oh, Asylum,
Asylum, Asylum.
CLE.
You,
Yeah.
we got guys that come up in there, but
Hmm.
by like 8 at a time.
Yeah, I have a guy
Um,
that I had to hunt down the April Fool's ones for him.
oh
He
my
bought
gosh.
we found 3 boxes which they had 5 coffins in each. So
Yeah.
he bought all of them. That's his like go-to ring. Like he loves that cigar in that size, and I'm just like, oh my god.
What? No, that. Listen, like I understand, like, but an 8x8 cigar is not. That's not. It.
And honestly, though, there are guys that come in and they are buying, they buy the lunatic now because
Yeah.
that's kind of like the size that they can find. And, I mean, the ogre's there and
Hmm.
stuff like that, and that's fine. But yeah, no, like it's just so massive.
Yeah. You know what?
It's a massive
It's pretty
cigar.
funny because the ogre in a Toro size is actually pretty
Mhm.
good.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
actually a pretty. Yeah, it's actually a
Yeah,
pretty good cigar.
yeah, I love stuff by Asylum. I just will not smoke
Yeah.
that big of a ring. Well, first off,
No. No.
it wouldn't work. I'd just be so
Yeah.
annoyed because but there
Yeah.
are guys that, I mean, it fits them. Like like it doesn't look weird
Yeah.
when they're smoking it.
No.
Yeah, it's such a big cigar.
Yeah. Like, and the hardest thing is like, because I'm pretty sure that you hit this. The one question you get a lot, especially like if you don't have a brand, when if you don't carry that brand, is okay. Well, I don't have that, but I could find something similar to that flavor profile,
Hmm.
and they'll sit there and they'll kind of like argue you down, saying, "Oh, well, it's not gonna be as good. It's not gonna be as good." I'm
Right.
like, and then you like just give it a try, and they try it and they go, "Wow, no, that cigar it kind of hit the same way." And you're like, "Yeah, I told you."
Yeah. And that's why, you get a lot of people who do go into a lounge. You have your regulars, you have
Yeah.
your somewhat knowledgeable cigar smokers, but then you have guys who don't really smoke, but they do occasionally, or they're with
Yeah.
a group. And so they're doing stuff. And so they've been told, or are just going to go to what they think like they're supposed to
Mm-hmm.
smoke, like a
Yeah.
Davidoff, which there's nothing wrong with any of that. But there are so many fantastic cigars out there that they could
Exactly.
be trying that, would still maybe be in that part of the wheelhouse,
Well,
or
and also,
even blend.
yeah, and and it won't break the bank, so you won't feel as bad. You
So
know.
I have noticed there are people who literally don't care. Like they don't care how much money
Yeah.
they spend. They just whatever, that's fine, that's good. That they don't even question it. Then you have those guys who just they're going to smoke their $10,
Mm-hmm.
$12 stick, and they are not budging from that. And if they do want to try something new, it has to be in that price point, which is fine
Mm-hmm.
because they are actually probably more heavy everyday smokers
Mm-hmm.
versus those guys who are coming in buying some of those more expensive, like a Byron or an Atabay or
Mm-hmm.
something, like they're like, oh, I'm treating myself. I don't do this
Yeah.
often, type thing. So it's definitely interesting.
Well, that's
The
that's how that's how I
comparison.
am. Like, I had one of my friends gifted me a Byron. He gifted me two.
What'd you
Uh,
think?
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
I
was
mean,
like,
you get a clean smoke. They're known for
yeah,
being very Cuban-esque, like that
yeah,
clean style. Yeah. I mean, they are. I mean, some of them I don't. Would I pay that kind of money for some of
no,
them? Probably not.
that's the problem. It's
Yeah.
like the price. It's like it's cool for maybe once a month or once every 2 months, but for people just to go out there every single time and spend that kind of money, you're like, for that kind of money, you could have got so many other good cigars that are in
Yeah.
that same sort of wheelhouse.
Man, that's why I tell everyone, I'm like, you have no idea if you've never smoked a Perla de Mar, the PDM by JC
Yeah.
Newman. You're insane not to. First off,
Hmm.
the price point, you can't go wrong. It's a well constructed. You have your shade, your
Yeah.
Corojo, and your Maduro, and like there's something for everyone. And they come in all different sizes, and they're just
Yeah.
so good for like an
Exactly.
$8 stick. I think the cheapest one, like for the size, is like $8.
Wow. Yeah.
Such a good cigar.
And that's the thing. And you know what? And I think the one thing too is some people, especially like I think with newer smokers, they think that price, just because a cigar is priced high, is going to be a better cigar.
Oh yeah, that's
And that,
definitely for a lot of people, I think.
and that's not the case at all.
Yeah,
You
no.
know,
But I
like
get it in the lounge. Obviously, you're going to want to you're going to try to
yeah,
push your higher end cigars. I mean, that's,
yeah,
that's important, but when you have someone who for an everyday smoke, they're not going to go for that higher end cigar.
yeah. You know, I was having a discussion with a guy in the shop, and I was like, "Oh, so what do you smoke? What's your normal smoke?" And he goes, "A Padron 64." I was like, "Okay, that's fine." I said, "Every day?" He was like, "Yeah, I have no problem spending the money." I was like, and I think at for even at our shop, it's MSRP. I think is around maybe $21.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say that that's kind of like close to ours, maybe a little. We might be a little bit less,
Yeah,
but they have the 1,000 series, like the
yeah,
5,000, the 4,000, 3,000. But
which are amazing.
yeah, so
You
for a
know,
little bit less money, I mean, it's still in the $12 range,
yeah,
12 to 15. You're still getting a good cigar,
yeah,
So I try explaining that to people, like you in their wheelhouse of I guess the manufacturer is kind of
yeah,
what it is. It's like, oh, this is the brand I like. Well, they do make other cigars in that lineup. So
yeah, yeah. Like how like when you're in there explaining stuff, do you feel like they kind of reserve a little bit, just because you're a female in there, and they go,
oh,
oh, well,
absolutely.
you know, and
No,
and
it's go ahead.
no, I was gonna say like my thing is I feel like I always say it now too, and I realize that females have much women have much better palates than men, in my opinion.
Yeah, I
Because I
think
feel like they're able to get to know more notes than we are.
Yeah,
So if a woman says that it's good,
I think for me, it was more like, are there some guys that work there that are more knowledgeable about some of the cigars?
mm,
Absolutely, because I'm not going to lie, there's certain cigars that are just not my wheelhouse. Do I
mm-hmm,
sell them? Yes, absolutely. Will I talk about them?
mm-hmm,
Yeah, they're just not in my palate, right? So,
mm-hmm,
some of those guys, that's more like their speed, so they kind of know more about those particular cigars. But like I try to like, just be neutral, like for
mm-hmm,
everything, like there's a cigar out there for someone. Um, but it's funny because a lot of people will come in, will say, "Oh, do you need any help?" No. And then they'll go up to one of the guys, and then one of the guys come
yeah,
and get me. And then the
exactly,
guy looks at me and I'm like, "You should have accepted my help."
exactly.
Like
You
you
know,
ultimately ended up with me anyway.
anyway, and you know what the funny thing is, and then you see, like, I'm pretty sure you see that dumb look on their face, like,
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of guys that will come in though and that are like total receptive, like really cool, or they'll come in after like that whole episode of like not needing the help, but then
yeah,
getting the help. And then they'll be like, oh, where's Jess? Like, I need her help again. Like,
exactly, yeah,
like, hey, Jess, what do you think I should smoke today? Which is nice once you build that, like, but yeah, I'm the only female on the cigar side.
really.
Yeah. There's no other female cigar employees. Bar
I'll
is
say,
different, but like,
yeah,
the cigar side, no, there isn't
I'll
anyone
say,
else.
so you're like the mama bear
Oh, they all
the
know it
on the cigar
too.
side.
My kids.
Yeah, you know, like
Yeah.
in just being just like I'm at that shop pretty much. If I'm not doing a double, I'm there. I'm
Yeah.
there pretty much every day, and and just learning and the one thing, and most of the time unless I'm off of work, I'm really not there when the reps are there. But sometimes I'll get lucky, and a rep will
Mhm.
be there, and then I'm able to really get the insight, and then I'll be able to ask even more questions about the brand.
Yeah, that's a cool thing too about like the reps too, is because they do like trainings for a lot of
Yeah,
the staff. So that's nice. And then on top of, when you have an event or something, the reps
yeah,
come in and do stuff. But yeah, the trainings are really nice, especially for guys who are working there that really aren't like they've never been in the cigar industry or have never really
yeah,
smoked cigars. So it's good for them to learn like what they're trying to sell, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
It so now I remember you saying that you kind of step back from podcasting. Now that you're stepping away from Corona, are you going
Yeah.
to another shop, or are you going to
No.
focus on? Okay,
So I am going to be doing something, but it's just going to be like from home.
okay,
Um, just It's going to be like a different avenue,
Yeah.
behind the scenes type of stuff. I kind of needed to step back more for like my kids are getting older. Gabby just
Yeah.
graduated. Wyatt's going to be a senior. He has
Yeah.
an opportunity to do a program this summer. And
Yeah.
I can't be driving an hour and a half away because that's how far I am. Like
Really?
with traffic, it sometimes takes me 2 hours.
Oh my
Like
gosh. No.
it's a drive, and it shouldn't because I'm not
Yeah.
that far from downtown Sarasota. But it's
Uh-huh.
just how you have to get there and just the traffic. And like in the mornings, it's usually fine. It's at night. It's like so bad. Like the other night, I left at 5:30. I didn't get home till 8:30 because there was a wildfire and they had to shut all of 75 down. But that's happened more times than I can count.
Wow.
And so it was a hard decision to leave. But I'm going to stay doing some events for them and stuff. I'll still do stuff with Corona, but I wanted to do this for about a year, and that's about where I'm at. So it was kind of perfect timing. Yeah. I cannot replace the amount of just education I've gotten, like without doing this. Like it just blew my mind. Like,
yeah,
obviously there's like with any job, there's always like stuff, but like I wasn't there because I had to be there. I wanted to be there. So it was like a different experience, I think, for me, because the pressure wasn't there. Like, oh my God, this is like my everyday job. Like for me, it was different. So I really got to dive.
It's passion.
Ton.
Yeah.
And I have a good work ethic regardless. Like I think I might have missed, like, besides taking off for like a trip that we took when we went to the PCA, I think I missed work like 3 times in the whole year that I've worked there.
Yeah.
I've never been late, it's just like I care about what I'm doing when I'm doing it,
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that I might not eventually someday go back. I have no idea. I just know that I'm not gonna miss that drive.
No, I'm
not gonna miss getting up at 5 a.m. to get everybody's like things together, and then me out the door, together, and then up to a lounge, and then come home, and then by the time I get home, like forget it. It's like it's literally it's the longest day ever, and
I believe that.
Yeah, and I still have as much as like my kids are grown. Wyatt's not, in a sense, so like he's like obviously needs some other care, and it's like their turn to have like their next phases in life. Like they are going to do some job training and stuff. Like he's going to get some really cool opportunities. And how is he going to get there? I'm the chauffeur. I can't be I can't be at work and then be like, oh, I got to be somewhere in 5 minutes for him. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
So I like had an opportunity that popped up. So it kind of was like perfect timing, and was like, all right, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk away, which is it's hard. So my last day is going to be June 2nd. I'll probably go up there. I'm going to be bored. So I'm probably going to go up there and like sit there. I'll be like, now I'm going to bother you guys.
Exactly. See how you guys like it. But, so like, I remember before, I know you were doing like little art projects as far as for Etsy.
Oh, I mean, listen, there was actually, I did a whole bunch of cigar cases, travel cases for a couple of customers for Corona. Like they would come in and give me like the cases, and I would like do stuff with bands and stuff for them. And they were always like, oh, how much do I owe you? And I was like, nothing. And they were like, no, we have to pay you. And I was like, no, like I like doing it. And like, of course, the one guy's like, no, I'm paying you. Like, this is like, you did all these boxes
amazing.
For
exactly.
Me. Could I do something like that? Maybe, but I think I do it more for fun, because passion, I think if it became a job, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like I'm a procrastinator at heart. So I'd be like, I'm not going to do this now.
I think, so actually, so I'm trying to come up with my own hats.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Yeah, so I got the heat press in my house. So now I'm just I have to find a company that won't kill me on the price of the patches.
Just reach out to Kevin after the show.
Okay.
And text him of who he uses.
Okay,
stuff. Yeah, he's got all that.
Yeah.
Like all that stuff pretty much priced out, locked down.
Nice.
I'm sure he would help you with that. But doing it yourself, like when we started doing the shirts ourselves, like total difference in like cost. Like it was way better.
It's a total game changer.
It really is.
It's a total. And you know what the thing, and And I tell guys at the shop all the time. I say I'm not trying to get rich off of it. I'm just trying to make enough money to just resupply because
And yeah,
I just want my creative ideas out there.
yeah, and
You know?
honestly, like, yeah, everyone's in it to make some money, right? You're not
Yeah.
saying, "Hey, I'm gonna not ever work another job." Like, that's what we always
Hmm.
laugh. Like, we have actual real jobs besides the cigar stuff. If
Exactly. Yeah.
if we could have walked away from like our everyday jobs,
Oh, you would
like
have.
we would have by now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's always obviously like the dream, you know?
Hmm.
But in the cigar industry, it depends on what you're doing. Could you do that kind of like walk away? You know,
Yeah.
you're not getting, we already know that we're not getting it from the social media. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things that we do that maintains all of this. Like,
Yeah.
it's not one thing. Like, Cigar Prop doesn't like maintain us, or Trash Panda doesn't
Yeah.
maintain us. You know, like, we have to hustle and have
Yeah.
our hands in everything, you know?
It and it's very interesting because like when it comes to us, and this is my opinion when it comes to cigar social media. Like I always put you guys up there as one of the top maybe 10 people on there, just because with the podcast and the Instagram, and it's like everybody know, and it's every Monday you guys have
Yeah,
somebody on, which is
I know.
insane.
And Kevin,
Because
I mean, that's all Kevin, like, and Care, like, they put a lot of work into that, you know? Like,
yeah,
I'm glad that he has Care because,
yeah,
you know, not that I was it's not that no one, it's not a surprise. Like, I always complained about being
yeah,
on the podcast. It was I'm not that front person like he
yeah,
is. He loves it. He lives for that, but he does his research. He's passionate about it. I think that's another reason why it's so successful, because
yeah,
that's like his thing. But
yeah.
he puts so much work. I don't think anyone realizes how much work like he puts into a lot that he does to get
Mhm.
these shows going and doing what he's done. You
Yeah, and
know? Yeah, it's a lot.
it is a lot, and just to be, and the one thing for those guys to find time, and he goes, and for him to say, this is my time that I do my show. I need,
Yeah.
like, I do my show every Monday at this time. Every time. Quick plug,
Yeah.
just 8 o'clock on Mondays on Facebook, YouTube, um,
Mm,
Twitter,
Rumble,
Instagram, also
StreamYard. Yep,
Rumble.
he's on Rumble.
Yep,
Yep.
ru-
Yep.
yep.
So
At
definitely.
Cigar Prop. So
Yep.
go in, say hello, tell
Yeah.
tell him tell him Innocent sent you. But it's one of those. It's really one of those things where it takes a lot, because you know I do mines when I have a guest and when I'm able to get the guest to come on.
Hmm.
Like, I never want to go up and say these are my set times, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, for me, you're doing me a favor. And I'm like, okay, someone's like, all right, what days are you available? I don't want you to have to move around anything. When it, you know like, what are your days? And then from
Right.
there, I'll go and I'll schedule it, and we'll get it in. Is it a little
Yeah, and that's
inconsistent?
nice.
Maybe.
Yeah, but it's not
It's a little
bad because
inconsistent, but
you're
yeah,
still doing your like due diligence. It's still going to be an
exactly,
awesome show. It's not like you're skimping on what you do normally. It's just a difference in time, maybe, or a day, you
exactly,
know?
exactly. The day may be different, but the time frame is always
Yeah.
around the same. The only time that I think I had a different podcast is when I had John Hubert on, and John goes,
Mhm.
"Listen, I'm available from 11 to 4. After that, I shut it down. I go home to the fam."
Yeah.
I'm like, say no more.
Yeah, yeah,
Luckily,
say less. I got
say
this.
less.
Like,
I
we're
let
doing
go, say
this. Yeah.
less. Don't worry about it. Luckily, we did during the summertime, and during the summertime, uh, I normally work 3 days during the summertime because my sons are here. So when they're here, I take Thursday, Fridays off. So I was like, all
Got
right. I
you.
was like, hey, John, are you available? He was like, yep. And I was like, all right, well. And then I got Rob on, because him and John never met before, but they talk all the time through email,
Yeah.
all the time. They've been talking for years.
I mean, that's the other great part of this whole
Yeah,
thing, right? You know, like, you get to actually still meet people through
exactly.
online. And once you actually do meet in person, it's really
Yeah,
cool. But it's like you still feel like there's a connection,
yeah,
that makes it cool.
and I try to do things a little differently where it's not about pushing the product, it's about pushing the person.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
because at the end of the day, people know like if you follow the brand, you see the person and you see the brand owner, you know who it is. So why are we gonna like if we're gonna sit there and push the last thing they want to do is talk about tobacco. They talk about tobacco 24/7.
Yeah,
You
some
know,
of them
now
like to talk about tobacco so
yeah,
24/7 though.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
their thing,
Thing
but
exactly, you know,
yeah. But like when
because
you have someone like Nick Melillo, who is
yeah,
like a fascinating human being, like he has
mm-hmm,
done so many interesting things. How can you just only talk about? He loves talking about tobacco. I mean, he has a
yeah,
passion,
yeah,
obviously, but he's got so much other stuff that you can have conversations with him about.
exactly.
It's amazing.
Yeah, like his work in Ethiopia,
Yep, he's
you know,
knighted.
yeah,
Like, how many people can say that?
exactly. Which is kind of crazy, you know. And I just wonder like where that love for Ethiopia come from,
Yeah.
you
Those are
know.
all like the things that would be awesome to talk about, to learn
Yeah,
about.
you know, and just get a better understanding of him and why he's so passionate about this, and just having just at the end of the day, you want to make them as human as possible and try to make people fall in love with them, as and just make because if you fall in love with the person, you're gonna love the brand,
Yeah. Like
you know.
we were talking about Asylum earlier. Like if no one's out there following like Christian Euroa, like CLE, Asylum, any of the stuff
Yeah,
they're doing, like you're missing out because they film so many cool things going on at
yeah,
the factory like
yeah,
every day. Like I mean, put aside Christian's like just such a cool guy, right?
yeah.
Like if you ever get to meet him or like talk to him, he's just awesome. But like they're doing so many cool things online to like engage with the consumer.
And that's the biggest thing is it's the engagement because you know, like we do at the shop, we do a podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We do a podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and they get wild. They get like I got I got hit with a fucking shoe on Monday. Yeah, he threw his Indian Gucci loafer at me.
What Sanj threw is?
Yes,
Oh my god!
yeah,
So
yeah, his fucking Indian fucking you know because he lost his voice. So
Oh
the whole
yeah.
he's like, hey guys, no, he's like, well, the price, and everybody's like, oh, son, you sound like Mickey Mouse,
Oh
you
my
know.
god! So you guys all deserved it.
Oh
You
well,
guys
no.
all
First of all,
deserved the
nobody else got hit but me.
oh.
Yeah.
Well,
So
that's because he likes you
yeah,
probably.
yeah,
The
yeah.
people
Like
that
like
you
he was
like
like,
are the ones that you're
yeah,
abusive towards.
most, yeah. So he's there, and Son says something. And I go, and he goes, he's talking to some guy, and I go, fuck you, Sanj. And he gets up, he starts fucking chasing me with the fucking shoe. I turn the corner, and he just fucking launches
It's like
the sandal.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's like the
but
direct hit.
no, but first the shit it curved. It curved. I'm like, what kind of Indian voodoo is this?
It's the way they
Yeah,
have that.
yeah.
I don't know. It's like
So
also like a lot of Filipino or like Orient, like even like people who are like Asian, like you hear all these stories where they're like they just hit you with the shoe, like Spanish moms and stuff, and like my
yeah,
mom like grabbed
yeah,
anything. It didn't have
yeah.
to be a
They
shoe. It
just
was like
chucked it.
whatever was you're like hit with
Well,
it,
you know what? I would say this. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to you guys after you guys have babies, but your accuracy goes from like 0 to 100. You know, like it's like a
We
it's
have
like an
eyes in
automatic
the back
mom.
of our head.
Yeah, it's like an automatic. Like all of a sudden, you got like we could be running, and like you just throw it, you know,
Oh
and it
yeah,
just connects.
yeah,
We're like,
yeah.
how? Like we're like how this lady all of a sudden become like a shortstop of the New York Yankees
I don't
with her accuracy.
I don't know, but it's pretty awesome superpower
Yeah,
to have.
you know,
Awesome.
so most I always go back to this, but most people don't know you're a Jersey girl,
Hmm.
and
Oh my god. I have to tell you this. I just heard this. So there's another guy at the shop that's from Jersey.
Yeah,
Um that and we're both actually like Tauruses, which makes it even funnier because like,
yeah,
we're very bullheaded. But we were talking to another employee and like he was saying how he was telling us a story about how this guy kind of was like picking on him and just like giving him a hard time. And he was
yeah.
like, finally, he was like, said something to the guy, and he's like, like the guy, he's like, hey, he's like, we have a word for people like you. And the guy's like, what's that? And he's like, missing. And I was like, that's
Boom.
the fucking best line
Yeah,
I have heard in a long
yeah,
time. And that is so Jersey.
yeah,
And it was awesome. And I was like, oh, it made me miss home.
yeah. So like one guy in my Discord group, he's from down there. My guy Keith. He's like, yeah, I know Jess. She works over down in Corona. And I was like, yeah, Jess, that's my girl. That's my Jersey girl. But you know
Nice.
what? It's so many trend, especially like as far as like cigar, like Sandy from El Titan de Bronze.
Hmm.
She's from Elizabeth.
Yep. She's so, oh, I love her.
Yeah,
I just absolutely love her. Like I got to meet her and spend some time with her, and she's just so great.
yeah.
So great.
And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure once you told her you were from Jersey, she was like, oh, where?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's just, yeah, like it happened to be me, Kevin, and Craig Vanderslice.
Okay.
So like we were, and Craig's wife Jennifer was with us. And like we happened to go into the shop, and then we were hanging out. She like we were just hung out with her all day. And then like even
Yeah.
her mother was there doing like rolling cigars. She's like 90. I was like, this
Oh
is
my God.
insane. It was such a cool experience.
I
Yeah.
believe it.
Yeah. It was really
I could
fun.
you know, like I was hoping that because I went there on a Saturday, so Willie wasn't there. I was hoping when I've been there,
Yeah.
I'd be meet Willie and meet Sandy. But
Yeah, I
since
don't
she's like,
know. I don't know how often he comes in there.
yeah, yeah,
I don't know.
like she but she was like, yeah, she told the lady, she was like, he's from Jersey. Give him a couple, give him a couple of cigars.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my gosh, she's like, you're amazing. She's like, no, bring him back to Newark.
yeah. No,
But
that's the best. Like that's how we are though. Like we might
yeah,
be kind of like aggressive, angry people
yeah,
sometimes, but for the
sometimes,
most part, we all
sometimes,
like have each other's backs in a sense.
exactly,
Yeah. But yeah, so now you're gonna have to use that line on someone who's
yeah,
pissing you off because it was so perfect. That's like the best Jersey thing to say to someone.
yeah. It like I feel like from Jersey we get a bad rap just because of the fact because I grew up in New York, but I've been
Yeah.
in Jersey for like 10 years now.
Yeah.
And I feel like Jersey gets overshadowed by by New York and Philly and
I think depending on like what part of Jersey people are like
yeah.
referring to, like
Mhm.
obviously like people have either a fear of Newark
Mhm.
or they had the like just like, oh, it's trashy, right? Like it's
Yeah.
transient because of the airport and
Yeah.
stuff. But when I was a kid, like it was kind of hurt, like it was scary. They were pulling bodies to like
Yeah. Yeah.
the edge of like so like there is some stuff there, obviously, but it's not the only place. Like you have Belmar, you have Elizabeth, like you
Yeah.
have other places that are intense as well.
Well,
Like I don't
like
think people realize.
it's funny because I always go like because Jersey City is still rough, and then if you go to the South, if you go to the South, you have to deal with you got to deal with Camden, you got to deal with
Yeah,
Trenton.
I was gonna say Camden, but
You know,
like Trent, and what is so weird is it's a different kind of like vibe in Trenton. Like
hmm
it's such a weird vibe. Like I don't know how Trenton became Trenton,
yeah.
but like it's definitely it's its own
Well,
entity. It's like
something very interesting about that was the fact that so the guy Keith, he was like, I'm like, yeah, he like there's only like to him there's only North and South Jersey. There's no mid Jersey, and I'm like
oh yeah, the central.
Central Jersey, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, New Brunswick, and he goes, they don't count.
Yeah. How dare he say that, Keith? How
He
dare
goes, they
you
don't
say
count.
that?
You
Yes,
know,
we
he's like, they don't count.
do.
Yeah.
New
You
Brunswick
know,
counts.
like Brunswick. Because for me, like I consider like once you get down by Princeton, I consider that kind of South Jersey.
Yeah, I mean that's also. I mean, how many people do you know are like I'm from Princeton? You know what I
Very,
mean?
very, very true. Very, very,
Yeah,
very
like
true.
I feel like people don't admit that they're from there if they're from there.
Yeah.
You know, like that's a nicer part. Like it's nice.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like
Oh,
you're
so
safe over there.
yeah. So you guys in the chat, do you guys have any questions for Jessica? Like, Ben. First of all, you are like, yeah. You always have like 50 million questions, Ben. So if you want to start off the questions for Jess, that'd be great. Uh, but but now going from, because most of the time you'll post around maybe 3 or 4 pictures a day of you smoking a cigar.
Yeah, I will say I have been lax the last few months. Like I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. Like I've kind of just like I've been trying to post a little bit more and get myself back in what I like to do for me, you
Mhm.
know. I think I just kind of like let it fall to the wayside because I
Yeah.
was so busy.
Oh
And it
yeah.
was, it's like behind the scenes too here. It's like,
Yeah.
I haven't really been able to help Kevin as much as I used to,
Yeah.
but like still trying to like we were trying to finish the lounge and
Yeah.
like, there was other stuff going on too. So I was like, I got to get back in to doing what I like to do. you know, like I don't think I'll ever let a job ever interfere with like what I want to do ever again. I think I put too much pressure on myself.
So my man, so Jess, he has a question. He says,
All right.
what's something that something new that you learned from working at Corona?
Something new that I learned working at Corona, that there's a ridiculous amount of SKUs for Tatuaje cigars. Like a lot. Like Pete Johnson, get your life together, guy. There's so many SKUs. But it's understandable. But he like that was like the other thing, like understanding how many like SKUs there are for cigars and like what that means for a box, for a single, for a butt, whatever. I didn't realize like how much goes into that,
Yeah.
like that's one thing like on the lounge side, like behind the scenes that people don't really probably realize. They're like, oh, I'm gonna buy this cigar. That's all they think. They don't think about how we have to sit there and sticker every single one. And then on top of it, if they don't have cellophane or they don't have a big enough area to put, where do you put this price tag on these cigars?
What we do is we go like if they don't have a SKU and it's not cellophane, I go, all right, how much is the price of that? All right, put right in the register. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, we put it on the box, but like what the problem is that means then we have to go all the way down that aisle, find that particular cigar, which if it doesn't have any band or anything on it, all these tatuajes start looking the same. Then you take the cigar and you're trying to hold it up to the other cigar to see like, oh, is this the right one? Is this the right one? And that's the other thing too with like certain Davidoffs or certain Padrones or Olivas, like they all look the same.
Yeah.
Like, they all start to look the same. And you're like, yeah, I can't find the cigar you're asking me for. And then all of a sudden they leave and you're like, oh, there it was right in front of me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, and then I guess maybe the other thing that maybe was just like, something as far as like so it's not just a cigar lounge. It's also, they have a major bar, right? They're a huge bourbon and whiskey. Like I am not a huge drinker. So like, I did not know like bar life. Like I didn't understand that there are these pours that are like $400 for a pour for a certain whiskey or bourbon. And like, so I had to learn. So, and I still don't know. Like people ask me, I'm like, I can get you water or I can, open a beer for you. And that is about it. Yeah. Like, I don't know any of this stuff. It's a lot. Like kudos to the bartenders. But they have like a whiskey and bourbon society that comes in there and like they know their stuff. and like there's
Mm.
barrel picks and all that stuff. Like I don't think I won't live long enough to learn everything.
Oh yeah, no, whiskey is a
Yeah.
whole different ball game. So the next question is from Ben. He says, are you hunting anything? Any cigars?
Ugh. I mean, not really. I mean, actually, you know what? If I could find this La Aurora that came out, it's their vintage blend. If I was smart, I would have bought a whole box because they only made so many that they do every year. They do like a vintage blend.
Yeah.
That cigar was so good. And I have one. I bought like 4 and I smoked all of them except for one. And now you can't find them anywhere.
Yeah.
So if I was smart, I would have hunted that more. I still am always hunting for my Ezra Zion cigars like online. I'm still such a fangirl over Ezra Zion. I don't think I will ever not be. I love them.
You know the fight. So that's so Sanj met Christian over at the Big Smoke, and he was telling him, he was like, I really love the 25th anniversary. The only problem is I can't smoke it because Sanj got into an accident when he was younger, so it's hard for him to smoke box press.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, and Christian said, "What's your favorite cigar size?" And Sanj said, "A Lancero." Christian goes up, makes a special box for Sanj.
How cool is that?
It was a box of the 25th year. The box said for Sanj on it, made in a Lancero.
That's amazing. I love that stuff. That's awesome.
Sanj gave all of us one to smoke.
How was it? Now you dream about that cigar, right?
That's, you know what? It's only a few cigars that I've smoked that, like, because the problem too is that I know I'll never get it again.
Yeah. See, and I'm okay with that. That's what blows people's mind. Like Kevin will hoard stuff because he can't, like, I'm like, one and done. Okay. I mean, yeah. Do I like it? Like, do I want another one? Yes. But I don't obsess over it.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I like the boutiques.
Yeah. Like, that's why, so I have a box, like I told Sean to put a box of the blood medicine away from me so I could pay for it later because those are going like hotcakes.
Yeah.
And so I'm not really a hunter of cigars. I'm more of a, if I get it, I get it type of person.
Yeah. I think for me, it would be more like if there is a certain cigar that I really like want and I like come across it, I will buy multiple, just so I know I have it. Even if I haven't smoked it, like I'm gonna buy a couple just so I can
have it.
Yeah. So, and if I don't end up liking it or it's not my wheelhouse, I can always gift it to someone,
Very, very true. Very, very true. So Ben has another question. Thank you, Ben. You're the man, Ben. He says the best cigar recently that you smoked. I think he spoke about that one earlier.
That's the La Aurora one and Alfonso.
Like, Alfonso. So expensive. Yeah.
$42.
You know what? You might have to call them and be like, hey, listen, like, hook your girl up, let's talk.
Oh, this is also shout out to Casada Cigars. Their 50th anniversary cigar is so freaking good.
Really?
So good. I love that cigar. I've been smoking that quite a bit too. That's another one on my top 3 right now. So, like, if you've ever come across Casamanga or Casada, pick one up. Like, that brand right now is so good. Raquel is amazing human being. And then I don't know, like, do you remember Brian Diggins used to be Kevin's co-host?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I started following Kevin when he got with Kurt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Diggins used to be, like on our show and stuff, but now he's with Casada. He used to be with Karen Berger, and now he's with Casada. And then you have Hector and Jorge. They are fantastic crew. Like this cigar is fantastic.
Yeah.
So good. I've smoked quite a few of those.
So are you limited edition or Coraline?
Um, my core line
No, no, I'm saying
currently.
like
Oh
as far as like if you had to pick
no,
between like with the brands, like if you had to go, like are you like do you prefer the limited stuff they come out with, or you just you want the core line, because you know you can always get it.
yeah, that's a tricky one. I mean, obviously, I would say I probably want the core line because obviously I want to keep smoking. I don't want to
Hmm.
always have to try something new every time, And then what happens if it's not good? And then it's like at least if I'm out and yeah, I'll buy something new, but at least then I know I can go to a go-to cigar that I know I like. So I'll say core line. I probably
Okay.
would rather have that than, but I do like those hard to find one-offs
Hmm.
stuff you know and maybe it's only because it's like it's fun to have something that no one else has you know and be able to like share that too with other people who really enjoyed that scar, like where did you find that, well I have two, I will share one with you, it's
Hmm.
kind of like a fun thing to do as well.
Yeah, like you know, you have it's like for me, it's like especially when it comes to limited edition stuff, it's like I'll always try one just to say I tried it. But and if it's like really really good, like this blood medicine, and it's like
Mhm.
damn, like this can't be a one time release. Like you got to find a way to keep pumping
Well,
this guy out.
right, and there are. So like some like even with Ezra Zion. So like obviously there's never going to be the original of something,
Hmm.
but then they make another edition of that.
Exactly.
Which I don't mind because the blend is usually as similar as it possibly can, but they don't claim it to be the same.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Exactly.
you know, like 2.0 or it's like
Yeah.
it's the next
Have you
version.
tried the Encore Black?
Oh, I have. It's really good.
Really
It's
really good.
really
I
really
really
good
enjoyed that
cigar.
cigar.
Yeah, that's a really good cigar.
I'm
There
excited for that.
is Go ahead.
I'm excited for the this year's Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes, a lot of people are. And so like I I think I have probably pushed Encore more than any like of the other ones. Like
Yeah.
there's Allegiance, um there's Encore, then there's Pledge, and then there's one other one that EP Carrillo makes that why can't I know? I think it just says EP Carrillo on it's like a
Hmm.
brown it just looks like a brown wrapper now. It's not popping
Yeah.
in my what the name of it is. That's a fantastic cigar too.
Yeah.
But I think people don't gravitate towards sometimes EP Carrillo, and I don't know why. It's such a
Yeah.
good company. They make such good
It's
cigars.
amazing cigars, and Ernie
Yeah.
is such a legend in the cigar industry.
Yeah.
You know, so what do you think the most common? I need a little bit more clarification, but I'll try to get it out there. What do you think the most common misconception is when it comes to? I need to know when it comes to what, Ben. What's the most the what when it comes to misconception when it comes to what? We'll go to the next one. Okay, this is a good one. So
Okay,
from
we'll come back to
we'll
the
come
other
back to
one in a
that one.
second.
He says,
Uh what am I most excited to recommend to someone? It's a tricky one, but I will say that I do push a lot of like foundation
yeah,
or because I love the Almac. Like it's such a great cigar. And also all the new Charter Oaks are fantastic. The
dude,
two new
those
blends.
are the Pasquales are
I know
amazing.
they're so good. They're
Yeah,
so good. I think I like to try to push people outside their comfort zone. So
that's
like the
yeah,
red so like Steve Saka cannot call himself a boutique brand anymore, sir.
yeah,
You cannot.
exactly.
You have too many out there now. But no, like people who aren't aware of Dunbarton and Trust, like I smoke a polpetta. Like I love that cigar. So when someone's looking for maybe like a nub size type of cigar, I'm like, oh, the little meatball, the meat
Hmm.
polpetta is really good.
Yeah,
The Red Meat Lovers Club, it's also like to help like Evan Darnell out, who's like an incredible guy who does all the Red Meat Lovers. And those cigars
yeah,
are made by Steve. And so, a lot of these guys come in and they are like, they like the heavier smoke. They like meat and
exactly. Yeah,
potatoes stuff. Like they're, like this is
yeah.
what I'm looking for. So I got a lot of guys hooked on the Red Meat Lover Club cigars. I like to try to push, you know, some Illusiones, some
Yeah,
Adventura, um, uh, God, who else do I push? As far as like not on the higher end, on the higher
yeah,
end, I do try to tell people buy that Alfonso. I'm like, just buy
yeah.
that Alfonso. It's so good. Like it's
You know,
such a great
it
cigar.
like with Illusione, like I can't lie, like I do kind of push the Lancero or the Habano because to me those
Yeah.
are phenomenal cigars.
So do you like the
Especially,
Singulara?
I gotta remember which one
So
that
it kind
is.
of has like the bird on it. It's like a purplish turquoise band with like I don't even know what you would call the bird. It's cool. It's a cool band.
Yeah, yeah,
If you
if I
saw
see
it,
it, I definitely,
yeah.
yeah, like like especially like so last year in my top five, the Illusione Lancero made my top five cigars because that Lancero, the first time I smoked it, it blew me away.
Yeah. Yeah. See, and you don't have like a ton of guys that come looking for Lanceros,
Yeah,
like, I mean, maybe a Churchill,
I think the problem when it comes like people feel like they get cheated when they buy a Lancero because it's not a thick cigar,
Yeah.
and and it's like no, like you don't understand, like a Lancero is where you really getting that flavor, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I'm not a
That's
fan of a Lancero.
really, oh my god,
Yeah.
Jess.
I mean, I smoke them like I
Yeah,
do, but like I said, I'm like an impatient smoker sometimes.
yeah. Oh, I love a Lancero.
Yeah.
And he makes an amazing candela too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm trying the other day we were talking about that with Sanj, just trying to nudge him a little bit to reorder the candela,
Yeah.
you know.
And that's
But
the other thing too, is like sometimes like that could be like the downfall too, is like when like there's issues going on with the factory or like the shipping and like there's a delay, right? So like we'll have like certain cigars that we won't have for a while, not
yeah,
because they're not coming, they just haven't come in, right? Or the warehouse is empty from it because it's not getting shipped like right away, or new releases don't come to the lounge right away,
mm,
like all of a sudden, like people are like, "Oh, did you get that cigar?" And it literally just got like announced. No,
exactly.
nobody has that cigar.
It's like that's the one thing too is like like the second it's announced and like they're like, oh well, did you guys get the new Tatawartes in yet? Oh,
Yeah,
fuck. I butchered
yeah,
it again. Whatever. But you guys know what I mean. Well,
yeah.
they
You
always ask
said
you like, oh
said it fine.
yeah, they're like, oh, did you guys get the or when the Monster series comes out, the day that it's announced, they here they come. Oh, can you did you guys get the Monster series yet? No, it's not in yet.
Yeah,
We'll have it in maybe a week or two.
yeah.
And then they keep coming back like the Monster series. When I tell you, we cannot keep those in stock for nothing.
Nope, nobody can. That is
Yeah,
definitely. I think people don't even care. Like if it was like
yeah.
if it's an older monster, if it's a brand new monster, like they're just gonna
They don't
buy it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So Ben wants to know if you met any of your heroes in the cigar game, which is that you guys meet so
Mhm.
many people.
Yeah, I mean, for Kevin, that was like a big thing for him, because he had so many people he looked up to, and I was kind of like not indifferent, but like
Uh huh.
I don't fangirl much. Like he
Hmm.
fanboys a lot. But I'm not gonna lie, like I have met quite a few female like cigar, not influencers, because they do other stuff in the cigar industry that
Yeah.
I absolutely like fangirled over, like I'd been following
Yeah.
them for a long time and I really look up to them in the,
Yeah.
for women in the cigar industry. So yeah, like I have actually met some really incredible women, in the cigar industry. Like especially even women who are just like behind the scenes that people don't know, like that they do a lot. And they
Mm.
would never know because they don't put themselves out there
Out there
publicly.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I have a just, a utmost respect for that,
Mm.
that they do what they do and no one has a clue, you know? It's it's kind of badass.
So, well, I think you answered your favorite cigar already with the Alfonso. So, your favorite rapper?
I do like a Corojo a lot. Um, I mean, I think it just varies.
have
So
have
it's
you
not. Go
have
ahead.
you have you tried the new Wise Man Corojo yet?
Yes, it's good. It
Yeah.
is good.
So that I tried the Maduro. I haven't tried the Corojo yet, and I keep here's the thing: I keep forgetting to try it. I keep
Yeah,
forgetting to grab one.
yeah. I see. I like a Maduro. I like a Corojo. I just like a Corojo. I don't know. There's
Yeah,
something about
Corojo
Corojo that's
is
just
definitely one of my favorite rapper types.
yeah. It has something special for me there. It's like my sweet spot.
That and the Cameroon is my favorite. A
Yeah,
Cameroon
Cameroon's
rapper.
good, but there are a lot of people who don't like Cameroon. There are a lot of
Well,
people who don't like the I don't even know how do they describe it. There's like an aftertaste or something to
nah,
them that they don't
those people
like.
need to come up missing. All right, those
We
people
have a word for people like you.
like exactly.
Missing.
We have a word for people like that. Yeah, they need to come up missing somewhere. Ah,
Yeah. Uh see.
uh,
He knows what I'm talking
yeah,
about.
yeah.
Interesting
You
smoke.
know, it's
They're
very.
really good. They're a good cigar.
You know what? It's very interesting because I was not a fan of the 115 from La
Okay.
Laura,
Yeah.
and but Sanj gave me something from the basement that was really good from Aurora.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you, there are some cigars that I have that are La Aurora that are not like you can't really find them now. Like they
Yeah,
would be a little bit of a
yeah,
unicorn. And yeah, so I understand, but they're La Aurora has a pretty big lineup too to choose
yeah.
from. So you kind of you can really like take your pick at this point. Um I think what is it there the one that came out with the metal casing, what is that called? To something, I forget. That's
Mm,
an interesting cigar too. Do I think it's worth the price point? Eh,
probably.
eh, probably not.
Yeah,
It's like I don't care about the that it comes in a cool metal, like
yeah, yeah.
coffin
You can
thing.
keep that. Yeah,
Yeah, like, but the vintage one though, the box is messed up though because it says 2014, but it's actually just 2018 tobacco. So
wow.
they used the boxes from 2014. They had
14. Yeah.
leftover, so I think
Hey,
they were hoping nobody would notice.
notice.
And
Yeah.
I didn't even notice until the rep was doing an event for us, and he was telling me about it because I was telling him I really like that cigar. And he was like, "Yeah, did you notice the box?" And I was like, "No, how did I miss that?" Because I didn't buy
Yeah.
a box because I was
Yeah.
dumb.
Yeah. So, Ben wants to know, what do you think would get more women into cigars?
I think people don't realize how many women actually are.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's pretty funny.
I
A lot of women smoke cigars.
I think we just don't care to be out there like men.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in history, obviously that is a bonding thing for men, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
they would from the beginning of time of cigars, men always congregate and it was like a male thing to do. But I think people didn't realize like how many women were doing it behind the scenes, like, and still to this day,
Mm-hmm.
and I think people also don't realize like how much of a community that there is out there, um that women smoke, like
Mm.
even at the lounge, like, yeah, it's dominantly men, but it's funny because more men are smoking acids and
Yeah.
Tatianas than the women who
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
in. So
Mm-hmm.
like acids are like the number one selling cigar, and it's men who are buying them,
Yeah.
not
You know
even
what?
women.
I always say that. I was at an event last night, and a guy, he was like, I smoke cigars, but I don't smoke that much. I mostly smoke acids. And
Nothing wrong with it.
I was like, don't worry about that. I said, after a while, like I said, the more you venture out, the more you'll gain a palate for normal tobacco.
There are men that will never not smoke acids.
Yeah.
Which the tobacco people don't realize. If you don't like the sweetness, smoke it the other way.
Yeah.
Smoke it backwards. You're going to get a fantastic cigar without
Mm.
any of the sweetness because it's just a sweetened tip, you know?
Yeah.
And there's all different types. Like I tell people, Corona has an acid that's made specifically for Corona, which is the beach,
Yeah.
and it's a Corona exclusive, and it's a fantastic cigar. And
Mm.
occasionally, I'll still smoke like a Java mint or something, just
Yeah.
when my palate's kind of trashed, you know, to get some
Crash.
kind of
Yeah.
flavor back on me.
Hmm.
But like, I always tell people it's your cash, your ash. Like, do what you want. You know,
I like that phrase.
when people
I
complain
like that
about stuff,
phrase.
I'm like, look, it's not your freaking money. Like, what do you
Yeah.
care what someone else is smoking? You know,
Jess,
like,
you
do
got to put that
you?
on a t-shirt, Jess, or a hat.
Yeah, Kevin did. It's on a sticker. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Yes, that is perfect. Hey,
yeah.
Hugo, my chihuahua. What's going on, my brother? Up and of course up. Yeah, yeah, Ben. Yeah, Ben. Well, 2 years. You're getting there, Ben. Don't worry about it, man. You know, like,
Thank you for tuning in.
yeah,
Appreciate
Ben.
that.
Oh, what's an uncommon cigar hack?
Uncommon cigar hacks. Well, that's a tricky question. I don't really know if I have an answer for that. I'll probably think of it afterwards and be like, "Ah, I should have said this."
Yeah.
As far as like, okay, I mean, like, I don't know if this is under the same like thought process of your question, but like a cigar hack
uh,
for like when we're putting like boxes and stuff like out, like how to get them to stay up, you know, and like how to
mm-hmm,
present them without the lid falling down and all that stuff. Like there's hacks for that, you know, like
mm-hmm.
how we present things. Um, yeah, other than that, I can't really think of like what like a cigar hack would mean.
So my boy Matt, Scar Carpenter,
Oh,
and
the
I would say,
120.
Jess,
Yeah.
I would say this: if you can follow Matt on Instagram, he gives the best. He does reviews, and he gives the like. He doesn't think, but he gives like the best breakdowns on cigars.
Let's see. Let me see if I'm following you. Cigar Carpenter. I assume that's your name for.
Yep. Yeah,
There
he
he
gives
is.
amazing, like,
Following.
detailed reviews.
Very cool. All right, I just
Like,
followed.
nice. See, there you go, Matt.
Yep. See.
He's doing YouTube
Bro.
reviews now. Yeah, like I used to always say, like, I'm like, man, you give like Sports Illustrated reviews on your IG.
Listen,
You know,
there is so much room for so many
uh,
people to do so many things in the cigar industry. And like, you know, there are those people who are going to gatekeep and just be who they are, and that's fine, you know, like they can stay in that lane, whatever.
yeah,
But like, that's the one thing I love about the cigar community is like how friendly and how helpful and how much
yeah.
people want to support each other and lift each other up, you know. uh I just think that's important. I don't think
Yeah.
anything should be gatekeeped, you know. There's enough room for
It's so,
everyone.
you know what? It's so interesting that you speak on that, because I feel like I feel like and like, because they call themselves the new wave. I feel like there's a new wave of reviewers, and then there's the old guard.
Yeah, and you know what though? Here's the sad thing though. When I hear stuff like this though, it kind of like, yes, are there people who are more vocal out there?
Hmm.
Absolutely. Are there people who aren't nice to each other online
Yeah,
or in the
you
community?
know,
Yes. But, you know, old guard, new guard, whatever, like you want to keep things still fresh without being disrespectful. I still believe in having respect for people who pave the way for people
exactly.
without being insulting for something new coming along. And I think there is a hard balance between some of the people who are like old guard versus the new, like newbies. Like, they're just be respectful to each other. Like, no one
Exactly.
says that, like, that they think they know it all or that you don't know enough, right? Like,
Hmm.
there are really good people out there to learn from, new and old. And if it's not your speed, just keep swiping, just keep
Yeah,
going, don't subscribe. You can find your niche
yeah,
somewheres.
exactly. And I feel like the newer guys, and a few guys like Cigar Hound Dog, and Mike and Enzo, you know Ben does reviews. A lot of these new reviewers, they all partner up, and they all support each other on their lives, and
No,
they're
it's
all they're,
important.
yeah, and they'll always send each other bombs, which is crazy. It's like, and they do these unboxings, and you're like, oh damn, like they're giving it, like they're always supporting each other, and especially like, so they call themselves the Infamous Smoke Show now.
Oh, very
And
cool.
yeah, so it's like Michael Pisdale, who calls himself Masters Ash, where he has a very good niche where he does pairings, because
Mm.
his background expertise is whiskey and bourbon, because he's in the liquor business. So
Kudos
his
to
thing
you,
is
guy. I couldn't tell you what would pair good with any alcohol
exactly,
because I do water or a
yeah,
0 calorie like root beer.
yeah,
That's what I like to pair my
yeah,
cigars with,
yeah.
or
It's so
coffee.
yeah, it's so interesting because Sanjay's biggest thing is, he goes, the first time you have a cigar, have it with water,
Mhm.
have it on a clean palate,
Yeah, I'm a
and
huge believer of water.
yeah, like it's because it's the biggest, and when I tell you, that starts wars, it starts wars and battles,
Duh,
and
Kevin eats friggin' pizza bites with cigars. Like there are people he eats breakfast as he's smoking a cigar. Like
yeah,
I think just everyone should just do what they enjoy and be
yeah,
happy. And if
yeah,
that's your thing, tune in. If it's not, don't. I
yeah.
feel like too many people are so quick to be like, oh, that's wrong. You can't do it that way. Who cares if it works for them? What does it matter to you?
The
Like
two
it
biggest
doesn't
fight,
hurt you.
the two biggest fights is humidity and how
Ugh.
you smoke a cigar.
Or
Humidity,
plume, right? Plume or
yeah,
mold or whatever. The
yeah,
whole like, oh my
like
god, there's like
like
mold on
hu-
that.
humidity, and you know, like especially with the humidity thing. People
Well,
will
here's
fight
the
about
thing:
having,
the humidity thing. If you don't live in an area where it's humid, like most of the time, yeah, you're gonna have to constantly battle your humidity levels, right? Like
uh-huh,
Jersey, like
uh-huh,
winter, like anything up north. We live in Florida. Our
yeah,
humidity is excellent. Like we don't even
exactly.
have half of our humid, like our new airs aren't even plugged in. Like we don't
Yeah,
have
there's no
to.
need, no
Like,
need.
yeah, there's no
Yeah,
need. But like if someone ever like asked us like, oh, well, what do you recommend? Well, I don't. You don't live here.
yeah.
So I'm going to stay in my lane. I have no idea what you should keep your humidor at. So if somebody like you who lives up north, like I would listen to you because you would know because that's your
Well,
environment.
Jess, I don't use no humidity at all, none.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
like,
does your house temperature stay pretty much the same like wherever you have
nah,
your
like
cigars?
my cigars, this winter, my cigars were at like 50 this winter, because it's freezing up here.
Yeah, it's
They would
brutal.
do at like 50, 55. And I was like, all right, whatever. Cut, light, smoke, let's go.
Okay.
You
I
know,
mean,
you know
so it clearly didn't like you didn't
no,
mind the dryness of it then
nah,
because
nah,
they obviously weren't moist.
nah.
They were
You know what?
they burned that Lancero burned fast for you.
Uh huh. Well, like, one thing too is like, because now it's getting hot up here, so the
Mhm.
humidity is going up, and now I'm so used to not having to relight my cigars because they stay lit, because they're
Mhm.
a little drier, so they stay lit.
So what do you use? Do you use
And now,
Bovitas or
no,
Bovitas,
no,
how
both of us,
everybody wants to say it?
nope,
Yeah. All right.
nope,
So
we
you
leave
said
them
it
right.
differently than me. So everyone
Yeah,
says it wrong too. It's
exactly.
Bovita, Bovita,
Yeah, yeah,
Bovita. I don't even know. Like, but
like,
people use that. We use those. Like we throw them in and stuff, and then when they become like a hockey puck,
yeah,
like we
you know,
replace them.
you're like, you know, so Bovito Rob came one time,
Yeah.
and he came to the shop, and him and Sanj just sitting there arguing about humidity. I came in late, But I got there, I seen him. I'm like, oh yeah, from Boulder. He's like, yeah. I had to call because he came up for the event, the that's on the ship.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the battleship. Uh,
Yes.
uh, the Red Meat Lovers Club
Yeah.
battleship. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he came up for that. So he came up to us, and they're sitting there and they're debating. And Sanj tells Rob, go to the basement. He grabs him a cigar from the basement, lights it, cuts it, smokes it. He goes, how's it smoke? He goes, head goes down. He goes, what was the humidity? Well, downstairs it said 45 degrees, the humidity downstairs. He
Okay.
goes, fuck. Like, it's one of those things where, like,
So here, just let me throw this out here. So
go ahead.
Corona has humidity that's made like a contraption in a sense that pumps out humidity into the lounge because it's an all open lounge. There is no encased anything. And granted, there are times where some cigars are getting too moist.
Yeah.
Because the way the mist is coming is landing maybe
over right
them.
on it. Yeah.
So I think when you look at stuff in that concept, then humidity does matter. Like, is something getting kind of moldy or has plume on it, or is like, how is this affecting the cigar? But that's trial and error for anyone in any environment, in any humidor. And so Sanj has been there for a long time. So I'm sure the way he's doing it is worked for him because he's found that sweet spot, right? And I think that's important for people to find that sweet spot of the cigar for them, where they're located.
So the upstairs has a humidification system upstairs.
Yeah.
The basement doesn't have, and that's where he has all his vintage stuff. Is in the basement. Like if you guys come up again to the Red Meat Lovers event, and you got, I know it was a hassle. It was a hell of a drive.
No, if I come back up, I will go. I'm gonna hang out with my sister, and she lives like not even an hour from you. So
No, well, yeah, Elizabeth is 20 minutes away.
Yeah, well, she lives in Plainfield. So, but
okay, nice. Yeah, oh yeah, even better.
Far.
Yeah, not far at all. Plainfield's right around the corner.
Yeah.
So next time you guys come, I'm saying, Sanj, I'm taking him downstairs to the basement.
Yeah. Well,
Texas, have a good night, brother.
And there's Texas. The other thing too with like how much sunlight is coming into a shop, right? How is your AC unit? How is your humidity, unit? Like, there's all kinds of things. And then we had a problem in the beginning with on the display wall that we had. There were LED lights that didn't have a film on them to block how strong it was.
Yeah.
And they were bleaching the cigars. So yeah. Wow. Yeah, it was a real mess. It was like a whole thing. But then we finally got them to put like a switch with a dimmer so we could turn them off. Because the other problem was we couldn't turn the light. It was on 24/7.
24/7, yeah.
It was like a mess. So like there are other factors for like why cigars sometimes what happens to them,
And so
and also how stuff is coming from like a factory, like how long had it actually sat for? How much did it really sit? And, because you get that ammonia taste in some cigars, and some cigars still feel too green, to be smoked.
I think, and, I don't try to throw any shade at any brand. But, like the one thing, like the West Tampa.
Yeah.
I feel like
Ricky Rodriguez.
I feel like they didn't sit them long enough.
Which one? Which West Tampa? The black, the
red.
Red. Yeah. I'm not going to disagree with you on that. I think because that was the long awaited one in that series. His Attic series are so good. They're like, Ricky is really like, Ricky and Sarah are fantastic human beings. I love them, but I agree about the red. Like, I think that could have probably sat a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But these are all things that, feedback is important. I think a lot of these manufacturers do appreciate that feedback,
you know, it it's tough because like, just knowing what we learned from the business is that a lot of companies do have investors, and investors they want to see a
Mhm.
return on profit.
Yep,
So it's like,
absolutely.
and they don't understand the waiting process. They're like, oh well, why do I have to wait so long? Because like the cigars, they're ready, but they're not ready. You
Right.
know
I
what?
mean,
Well,
this is the thing. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, I have cigars made for me. Like this is, a lot of people have cigars made for them, but like,
exactly. Yeah.
doesn't mean that they're ready to be smoked or that they were
Exactly.
good
Yeah.
quality, you know?
Exactly.
It does happen a lot.
Yeah.
And it's
It.
also, they're just slapping a label on a cigar that is getting another label slapped on it for another
mm,
person that it's being
it
made for.
well, that's know what that's kind of the dirty part of the game, because when you go to these factories and you show up there and you only need, let's just say you're getting maybe 10 to 20,000 cigars made. You're like, all
Mhm.
right, well, you can go ahead and pick one of these pre-blends that I made for you.
Yep.
And then what happens is somebody comes 3 weeks later, like, all right, well, you can pick that one. If somebody picks that same blend as you, the thing is they don't know. So like, so you got
Or
two.
they do and they just don't care.
No. I'm saying as far as the purchaser.
No, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Or the purchaser does know and doesn't
yeah,
care.
doesn't care. Like, well, we want this, and we'll just try to stay away from them. But what happens if it's a hit? But the thing is, you're just doing a better job of marketing your cigars than the other guy.
That's what it is. That's all it
You
is.
know,
And you know what? There are
that's.
people who, you got to get your foot in the door somehow. I get it. There are certain
Hmm.
things that are just going to take off, like
Yeah.
for some and not for others. Sometimes it is just timing. I think
Hmm.
some people are like, how did this person get like bigger fast, or versus like another person? And it's, I don't always think there's like an ulterior motive to it. I think sometimes it is
Hmm.
just timing, you
Yeah.
know.
I
That's
think
sometimes that's all it goes down to.
no, because like I remember when Kevin was coming out with his cigar with Kerr,
Hmm.
and that was an amazing cigar, and I really
Oh, the silent green.
yes, the silent green, and I said, Kev, this is so good. Like the silent green was really, and I thought it was gonna be bigger,
Hmm.
than because I really don't hear about it now, and I'm like you're on to something, because
Yeah.
even his the one he made with Espinoza, the
Oh yeah, the back in black.
the Back in Black,
Oh yeah,
that
but
was phenomenal.
that was meant to be limited.
Yeah,
That was all that they were going to do. And same thing with Fratello. The
yeah,
vice versa was limited run.
yeah.
And those were fun. These were like just ideas and passion projects, and like it was cool that companies were willing to like make that happen,
Exactly. But
You
and the
know.
vice versa was an amazing idea.
Yeah. Some people thought it was stupid, and that's fine, and some
Nah.
people may not have even like wanted to ever try something like that. But,
Yeah.
like the fact that it was something that like Kevin dreamt up and it got like done,
Done.
and you can hold it and touch it and smoke it, like, it was just something for him, and then it turned out to be like a cool project. And, it's a shame that it probably won't ever come to
Come again.
market,
Yeah.
like, for again, if it does, it will be very, very limited, because that is a
Yeah.
hard cigar to roll. La Aurora is the one who made those cigars.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, crazy, crazy,
You know.
crazy kind. He's a crazy human being that I live with.
You know
He
what?
has intense ideas.
What the funny thing is I always say, like, when people ask like how is Kevin as Jet, I go, so who do you think is the more outgoing wild personality? They go, oh no, okay. I go, no, it's Jess. I go, Kevin is very reserved, and Jess is a ball of energy. I go, Jess is a ball of energy. She's hilarious. And I go, Kev is very reserved.
Yeah,
They're like from the outside, they're total opposites. You
yeah.
know,
No, it's
because like
true.
because Kevin seems like he's so outgoing, but Kevin is he's so reserved,
He
and
is. His hamster wheel never
it
stops moving,
never
though. He's like
never
methodical.
stops.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and you know what? I wonder, like, when he, especially when he's making his Instagram videos, especially the one with the when he came out in the pirate outfit, when he during the 4th of July, when he comes out in the USA underwear, you know, like do you ever tell him to get a tan beforehand? Like, babe, can you just sit
No.
out and just tan just a little bit?
So, fun fact, most of this stuff he does when I am not around because he knows I would find out the same time as everyone else. I'd be like on Facebook, I'd be like at work, like, what the actual hell is happening? And like when he
Yeah,
did the whole like with Matt Booth, like for Room
yeah.
101, and he's like with the sign, and I was like, please tell me you actually had underwear on. He goes, no, I was completely naked because Matt would know. And I was like, how would anybody know? You had a sign
Yeah,
in front of you. So
yeah,
the one thing that I caught him doing was the whole like where he looked like Burt Reynolds on the bar thing.
yeah.
He out of my periph, like I was in the kitchen and he was just like walking it with those undies on or whatever. And I just like,
Yeah.
I said, oh, absolutely fucking no. Absolutely no. I was like, get away from me. And he was like, just like scooting by me like it's normal. It's a normal day. And I was like, yeah, now I know why. Now I know why he does it when I'm not here.
Yeah,
Like
you end up shutting it
I
down.
have to, because like I'm like, please don't do it. And he's like, why? But like I don't want him to not be who he is, you know?
Exactly.
But there's times where I'm like, you put too much your business out on Front Street, bro. Like I can't. Like I cannot get behind that. Some shit it just has to stay in these walls.
You know, like I'll always call him the mad scientist
Yeah.
of the cigar world, because
Oh yeah.
he's always thinking of something kooky, creative, just to kind of get traffic to him.
Yeah, and not even just for him though. He'll call people and be like, "Oh, had this thought of you. This would be perfect for you." Like he does that all the time. Like, and I'm just like, what is happening? Like, I don't know that he actually sleeps.
You know what? You know what the funny thing is just I wonder, like, when Kevin is like just walking around and people are like, "Your cigar prop."
Oh, he loves
You know?
it. He loves
Yeah.
it. But you know, but it's also like it just shows like all his hard work that he's put in. It's like a confirmation, like he's doing something, you know, something right.
Doing something right.
Yeah, you know, like I mean, he just sent me a video the other day, like 6 years ago when we got hooked up with like Drew Estate, and like I was like, oh, and like Fabian, like our like first meeting with Fabian when he was with Drew Estate, and just like how just cool and like how far we've come. Like we used to like literally go to all these events with like our product and just stand in line like everyone else, pay for our tickets like everyone else, you know, and now like shove our shit in people's faces. And, you know, obviously like, you know, there's still always like room to grow. But like that was just a lot of hard work. I mean, we even did like we used to go to like what do you call them, like flea markets even, and set up a booth, and like we were constantly like trying to push our product and put it in people's hands. And then the Trash Panda came along. That was like that's like our like fun project. Like we get to be weird and have satire and like just do things outside the box, you know, like sending cigars in the biohazard bags with like the toxic candies and like, you know, just like fun, cool stuff. You know, it's more new age, which like kind of puts us like in a weird spot for like the cigar community. You know, like you were talking about old guard versus new guard.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we're just like middle guard, because like I feel like we're not either or, you know. So it's just been fun.
Yeah, you know, like I definitely have to connect you guys with the new wave guys, with Matt, Kalen, and those guys, and hopefully set up something where you guys can go on their podcast, and their podcast is on Saturday night. So, and they're West Coast guys. So you know, and that way right there, you know, you guys can meet them, but you know, those guys and their fans, which they probably already know about you guys, But they will go up and they'll be like, oh well, my boy Kev is with these guys, so it's like the love just keeps growing.
Yeah. The
Which
only
is
thing that like like in the beginning too, a lot of people do like the discords and like, the
yeah,
herps and all that stuff. And that's great. You can still we still kind of sometimes do that, but it's hard. You start getting to a point where you can't do
yeah,
everything,
exactly, yeah.
and that's unfortunate.
Hmm.
That's why I think the show is important, because then that's a way for you still to connect,
Exactly.
like in the cigar community without always having to be on a herf. And
Yeah.
there are those people that's what they like. They want, that's their little family, and I think that's
Hmm.
amazing. Like, I'm glad there's groups out there and stuff for people that can connect that way. You
Yeah.
know,
It's
it's
one of those
fun.
things. It's one of those things where you know, like, especially from doing the show. After a while, the people that watch the show, they actually become like part of your family because they get the jokes,
They do.
and and some people become a part of, like, especially during our live. Man, we crack on people all day because they come on and they make comments, and then I'm going right back at them.
Yep.
You know, and that's what you, and like, especially because like I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, so they
Uh,
always make cowboy jokes, and then I have
yep.
to go and roast them up, and
Yeah.
then
It's like with
and then
Kevin and his, Ohio State stuff, like people got to
oh
make
my
fun of
god,
him
yeah,
for that.
yeah, like, so the in the see but the hard part there is like, because you guys have a guest there, so it's kind of like,
True.
so
True.
it's kind of hard to go up in the comments and roast somebody real
Yeah.
quick and then
Yeah.
get back to the guest.
And
You know,
what's really cool is like we were talking about, like, people who are, like you were talking about, doing reviews, and then up and
yeah,
coming people and stuff. And like, so Kevin's been, sort of thinking about, like, where's the next phase? Like, what do we do next?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
there's only so long that you can do certain things before it kind of is like, okay, we,
dries out.
right. And then there are people that step in, you kind of like make room,
Hmm.
and that's like
Hmm.
I think that's like a normal, natural progression for a lot of people.
Yeah,
I think it's fun for people that do it, that can, as a hobby,
yeah,
but like, I think what separates us a little bit is obviously we have a company, like we sell
exactly. Yeah,
an actual product. So it's not like we have to really sell ourselves all the time,
yeah.
not that Kevin
Hmm.
would ever mind that, because he loves the camera, he loves
Hmm.
doing that. But I know he mentioned to me that he would like to kind of start getting back into just doing simple reviews. Like
Yeah.
when we built the lounge and the humidor, he's like, there's cigars in here that I don't even know. Like, he's like, I've
Hmm.
never even smoked. So I kind of love that for him, because
Yeah.
that's what we started. We started with the cigar prop, and then we were just doing reviews in our garage. That pissed everybody off, because I
Yeah.
do laundry in there, and they were like, we could hear the washer and dryer in
Yeah.
the background. And but I think it's important to kind of humble yourself too.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
you
you've
know what?
come far, but that can be
You got,
gone in a second.
gotta stay. You gotta stay level. You gotta
Yeah.
stay level. No matter how, you know, and you know, I never consider myself, like, so like the joke. So like Sanj. So I remember back in the day, you came up with the term that Sanja tears. But so now he has the Sanjas. So it's like I'm Black Sanj, Rob is White
I
Sanj,
love
and then
that.
we have
I
Angel,
love that.
and, and then we have Angel, who is Puerto Rican Sanj.
Oh my god. So great.
Yeah, and then we have it's a white guy, but we call him Nigerian Sanj because he's on Google. It's like, oh, he's scamming people.
Oh my
So
god.
you
Dude,
know, and, and then
what do you guys call Maddie Rock? Just Maddie Rock?
yeah, just Maddie,
Just
just Maddie. That's
Maddie.
it.
Just
Matt,
Maddie.
let me tell you, Maddie's the best. I love Maddie so much, man. You
He
want to talk
is
about a
one of the most
genuine human
yes.
being?
Yeah, I
You
love
know?
that he just lets his freak flag fly, and he's
Yeah.
just him. He's just him. and he's seriously one of the nicest people you will ever meet on this planet.
nicest people you know what? If you have a problem with Maddie, there's something wrong with you.
There
And also
is.
too, if
I would die if somebody did.
and if Maddie doesn't like you, there's something. If he doesn't like you, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, he's if because he's one of the most genuine. He'll do anything that he can. He'll go any connection that I have is your connect. He
Yeah.
goes anything I can do for you.
Yeah.
You know, and it's crazy. Like
I just want to live his
you
life
know,
for one day with all the foods that he
that,
eats. I literally
oh
just
my
want to like
god,
be him for the day or be next to him when he's doing some of these cool like food things because I love like
yeah.
all of his stuff that he does.
Oh my, you know what? Like I wish you guys would have came to the handsome devil event that we have every year in Newburgh with Ed
Yeah,
Randolph. When I tell you the food there is off the chain,
I bet.
it's like and then Maddie did the one I think it's Pebble Beach, which is over in Queens.
Yeah,
Like
I just saw that. Yeah.
yeah, and he was like, I was like, "How's the food?" He goes, it was good when I was able to eat, but he's running around and the
Yeah.
heart he travels so much.
I know.
Because he's
I know.
always on the move with your estate, always on the move.
I know.
He
All
goes,
those
I'm like,
guys.
it's one of those things, and especially for Pedro, because like I call him one of the four horsemen because we think of Drew Estate, you think of him, JD, Willie, and I believe his name is Hector or Harold. Is
Oh,
one of the other
Henry.
brothers. Henry, yes,
Henry. Yeah, Henry's
yes.
great.
You know,
Yeah. But
and
then you have
like
Eli, DJ Eli,
yeah,
and then you have,
yeah, like
like all the other reps that are like involved,
exactly, yeah,
It's
yeah.
nuts though.
And because during like any big Drew Estate event, those guys are there and they're there for the for the freestyle live events,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things where it's just like, man, like you travel like you're basically living out of a suitcase because every weekend or even one day during the week once a week you're traveling, you know, and you're always on the road and you're always pushing that brand. But in a sense, that's a cigar business. It's a
Yeah.
handshake business,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think that's the hard part when it comes to doing cigars is that you kind of have to be a man of people. You can't you have to go to these events. You have to show your face. You have to be able to shake hands and just fine. And Luis Cuevas always says this. He goes, I just want a spot in your humidor. I don't need to be your everyday cigar, but I just want to be in your rotation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Lewis is one of the best people in the world. If like you know, that's one brand that I would like to see really blow because they're such good people. Have you
Yeah.
had,
That's a
but you
challenge though. It's a challenge
it
when you
is.
really enjoy people and
Yeah.
then you want to see them be so successful, but
Yeah.
then sometimes it just doesn't happen for them.
Yeah.
Like even with Kevin and I, like, there's so many things that like, we would love to do, but it's just probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, and that's okay. We
It
like,
is.
you let these, yeah, there's nice, you reach, but sometimes stuff just doesn't happen. And it's like, okay, now we got to figure out what the next
Yeah.
phase is.
So have you ever met Alec, Lewis' son?
I don't know if I have. I
Because
don't
I
think
know
so.
Alec is working at a Corona. I'm not, but I think it might be the one in Tampa. No, not Tampa, Miami.
It, no, there isn't one in
Not
Miami.
Miami. Okay, I know he
And
works at one of the big shops in Miami. But he came out,
on
but
the
the
water,
maybe I'm not sure
it's okay.
because
Because
he
that's the biggest one I think in Miami. Is like
yeah
I think it's called On the Water or something. I forget what it's
yeah
called.
because he came out with the blend for the Sangre Nueva.
Yeah,
So
no,
that
I haven't met him.
yeah, that was Alex's first his
I
first
wonder if he's in Smoke Inn.
uh,
That's
I'm a I'm
blatant
a
though.
I'm a text Lewis and find out, and I'll let you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but he the Sangre Nueva was his first cigar that he blended, and it was a hit. It was
Yeah.
amazing. And now they're like, all right, well, what's next from him? What's next from him?
Hmm.
But
I want
the
to
thing
say
is
that
because
I feel like Kevin was just talking about him the other day, to be honest. Now I
yeah,
can't remember the conversation. So maybe it had something to do with smoking. Yeah, message him and find out and let me know
yeah,
because I'm curious
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah, because like I was down in Miami last September,
Yeah.
and Lewis had us at his house, and and he was just saying, Alec wasn't there, but just you know learning a lot of ins and outs of the business of the cigar world, and just how hard it is to be able to get the tobacco,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
because it's pretty much it's a fight to get any, like, because if you want good stuff, you gotta buy bad stuff. But and it's like, how do you use the bad stuff, because the good stuff is what's going to make the cigar, you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah, like
it's
right now, like, Aganorsa or AJ Fernandez,
yeah,
like they're like,
yeah,
but even like Don Pepin, my father's cigars and all that stuff, like
yes,
it's so massive amounts
yeah,
of like farms that they have
hmm,
and like everything that he does, uh like for my father, like he even has his own like slaughter like house on his farm. Like he
mm,
does like, you know, pigs and stuff. Like there's a
hmm,
whole bunch of other stuff that they do, like it's pretty massive.
mm. Yeah, did you hear about the Fuente fire?
I did. Yeah. It's crazy. That
Uh,
Fuente, that's like serious though. Like people who are like huge, like Opus and like Fuente people, like I can't relate only because I just am not that person. Like I do enjoy quite a few different Fuente cigars, but those are like the die-hard Fuentes,
yeah,
like they seek this
yeah,
stuff out and that's like death to them, it's like there's already like a certain like limited amount of
look,
tobacco for certain
you
stuff,
know
so
it.
they freak out.
My thing about them is about that is just like, how come that's not guarded? Like stuff like that should be, especially when it comes to that kind of money, you should have security there, because
Yeah.
it's so valuable.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting because I mean, also too, there's like a huge connection with JC Newman. They do a ton of stuff for each other. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
another thing. Like a lot of these factories do stuff for each other.
Exactly.
And so yeah, it's definitely what's like when Adventurera's warehouse burned and stuff.
Yeah,
Like that was it's really sad,
it is.
so sad.
And
But
then they have to rebuild, and it's like, damn, well, we're gonna be out of commission for the
yeah,
next 6 to 8
and just
months.
think about some of these guys that are, they don't have their own factories, but they're obviously a known brand. But then something
Exactly.
happens, I mean, like, look what Foundation, they pulled, all their cigars to have the
Yeah.
Wise Men remade, because
Yeah.
Aganorsa was making it. And now, they went with someone else. So, yeah, it's a
It,
whole process. It's like a
you know,
whole
it's
new process.
it's very it's very interesting just when you think about that, and because people are searching for a certain taste, especially like with the Wise Men. It's like, oh well, that's my cigar, but now you're getting it from Pepin, and but the thing is, every place has their own footprint, and their tobacco
Yeah.
is gonna taste a certain way.
But I think for the most part, so I think like that's the whole point of like the blender, right? Like having that person who, like, if a lot of people will say, because Saka was a blender for Drew
Yeah,
Estate, some
yeah,
of the cigars have some similarities. I think it's in how with what the blender does,
exactly. Yeah,
how they can replicate stuff or get close enough, to certain things, or maybe it's time for a change,
yeah,
and like
maybe.
like for certain cigars, I know that probably was not an easy decision to be made, you
Yeah, at
know
all.
No, not at all. I wouldn't. I don't. Nagano Norsa makes some really great stuff. But
Really good stuff. Yeah.
when you make stuff for a lot of people, like same thing with
Yeah.
AJ. Like he makes so many different cigars for so many
Mm-hmm.
different brands. It gets hard. Quality sometimes just slips away, and I think that's what it comes
Yeah.
down to. It's you know if you're overloaded, the quality control goes down. There's
It,
almost only
yeah.
so much they can control.
You know what? And that's the biggest thing. And that's, like, sometimes she always says, I'd rather wait than let the quality go on my cigars.
Right.
I'll wait. Because like if the
Right.
cigars aren't ready, then they have to wait. At the end of the day, they have to wait, and they have to wait, and it will just create demand. Because if you rush it
Right.
out, and it's
But like you
go for
said, there's contracts for certain things. So I get it. It's a
yeah,
whole balancing thing.
it's
Those
a
are
bet. It
those are
is
those are costly things.
it
I could only imagine.
very costly things.
Yeah, what
Like
how much money that is.
Saka always says that like every cigar company is three bad months away from going bankrupt.
I believe it.
You know,
I believe it.
and
I mean, without these other enterprises that some of them do, like, yeah, it's not just strictly making the cigars. There's so much other stuff that they have to do to stay making money. And Drew State does it well. Like
yeah,
it's not just their cigars. I mean, it's a whole entire
marketing machine.
yeah, it's like just from the swag alone,
Exactly.
like they did things in a different way. Like some companies like will never do that. It's not their thing. Like that's
Yeah.
not who they are, and that's fine. But they do have a following, so they'll stay in that niche. But there are companies that are always pushing that next
That
envelope,
next,
which is kind of cool.
the one thing I always wonder myself is, because every cigar brand has lines that don't move.
Hmm.
It just doesn't sell. And I just wonder, it's like, okay, so like at the end of the year, like when you check in your books, like, is there a point where you just go, you know what, we just have to get rid of the cigar, it's not moving. It's, instead of us investing in this cigar, why don't we just X that one out
They
and put it
They
to
do. They do.
yeah,
There are quite a few that will stop making that particular cigar. It's not that it didn't sell okay or make some money. It's just not doing what it needs to do to stay in their
exactly, yeah.
core line. Maybe it will come back as like a lounge exclusive, or it will come
Hmm.
back as, just a like an event exclusive.
Exclusive, yeah.
Like
It's
sadly it does happen.
it's so interesting, because like, just going back to Pete Johnson, he has so many cigars.
Yeah.
He has so many, and it just makes you wonder, like, maybe, like, all right, if he cut down on 10, you know, if you
No,
cut,
he's not
yeah,
going to.
I know,
He also
I
has
know,
the Saint and Sinners, and now he has the NFT stuff that he's doing. I mean,
yeah,
it's just like it's massive. It's
yeah,
just so ridiculously massive. And not
it's
ridiculous in a bad
crazy.
way. It's just so hard to wrap my mind around like what that man like is doing. Like it's
Hmm.
impressive on a scale that I it makes my head hurt, you know. Kudos to him though, like
Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah.
It's so much, there's so much happening in that whole. There's so many different like little like
Look,
okay, there's this and then underneath that there's this and then underneath that there's this. It's such a crazy umbrella, you know.
of things, yeah,
Yeah.
which is insane. But Jess, we're coming up on 2 hours,
Yeah, that
so
went fast.
yeah, which is crazy. Well,
I
because once you
know.
get to the flow of things, it just flies, which is always
I know.
amazing. you
Yeah,
know.
it's
But
good.
Jess, where can people find you at, Jess?
I mean, they can find me on Instagram, I guess.
Yeah.
It's legitly my name. Like it doesn't say like Cigar Jessica. It's just
Yeah.
Jessica Brandt.
Yeah.
Like I am not fancy. I don't
Yeah.
have like one of them fancy handles or anything. I'm pretty boring.
Yeah.
But I always tell people you can go to Cigar Prop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cigar Prop,
Yeah.
Kevin Cigar Prop, and
Yeah.
you'll find me somehow, somewheres
Yeah.
in there.
Nice, nice. Well, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys so much for always watching and just interacting with the show. You know, I don't know. I need a name for like the for the people in chat, like
Yeah.
call like the jury room or something like that.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would
Yeah,
be awesome. I'm gonna think
you
of
know,
that and I'll
you
I'll
know.
text you some ideas.
Yeah, yeah, for
Hey, I
sure.
did want to ask you really fast. Are you
For,
watching anything interesting?
oh my god. So I've been watching. So my mom Liz, she's been with me for a little bit now because she had a
Yeah.
stroke, so she's been with me for a little bit. And she's going through Narcos, and she's been watching that show Bridgerton. But
Oh, of course.
yeah, my
We
god.
all are. All us
Yeah.
ladies are.
Yeah. uh the I did watch this one, but it was a Brazilian show. I cannot remember the damn name of it. uh but I did catch now. See, I'm going through the Rolodex now.
Yeah.
you know I've been watching the show with Kevin Costner,
Which one is that?
the one where they're over in like South Dakota.
Oh, okay. I think I know what you're
Yellow,
talking about.
was it
Yeah,
Yellowwood,
Yellowstone. Oh
Yellowstone?
yeah, yeah, Yellowstone. Yeah. So Kevin and I haven't watched that,
Oh,
but like Kevin's not a huge, like he does all his alien stuff. Like it's
yeah,
all
yeah,
recorded, like no
yeah,
commercials.
yeah.
You and
No,
I are bingers at
yes,
heart.
yes,
You
yes,
know,
yes.
like
Yeah,
we
you
need
have to
blow.
watch. Yes, you got to watch Yellowstone. I'm telling you
Okay,
now, it is
all
off
right,
the
I
chain.
might.
Yellowstone is definitely a great one. Um, the, another one that uh, I've been watching SWAT.
Okay,
You
all
know,
right.
yeah, and you know, oh, what was the one I just Shogun?
Oh, that's good. I did watch that.
Shogun
That's really
was
good.
fire.
It was. There's, I like watch from so many different platforms. Like I go back and forth.
Yeah,
So I get sometimes I skew them. I know. I'm like, oh, it's not really on Netflix. I lied. It's really on Hulu. Like,
yeah,
because I watch
like
so many different ones. Because I am a true binger. Like I
yeah.
enjoy it. People think it's crazy. I could read multiple
No,
books at the same
you know what?
time.
Honestly, it's the best way to go. Binging is the best way to
Yeah,
go. Like
I know. I
our
agree.
show fell off. Like
I know.
like
Blown away.
it,
I'm so
Blown Away fell
mad.
off. Yeah, it fell off. It was like the first season was so good, and then it fell
Yeah,
off.
I
Like
know.
I need
I know.
I needed a new competitive show from Netflix because
I
they're
feel
slacking.
like by the third one, it was like they all kind of knew what they needed to do. Like
Yeah,
these other people went in so blind, and you could
yeah,
tell, like, that was
yeah,
not their skill set. These people came prepared.
yeah. Like that, and then man, what was the other one that I because we watch it, we were watching at the shop. Oh man. Oh well, of course, like The Shy. We
Yeah.
binge watch because
Did you ever watch the Genghis Khan thing that I told you to watch?
oh, that was oh man, Marco Polo. No,
No,
was it Marco Polo
I
or
think it was just Khan or something. Remember
really?
I don't know. I'll look through and see if I can find it again, and
Yes, you
I'll
have to
send
send
it
me
to
that.
you because
Yes,
it was
I
so good. It was so good.
yeah, I need like all those old like Shogun. I was hooked from the first episode because I love like that Asian culture. I
I know.
fell in love with it after the first, and now they're filming seasons 2 and 3 right now.
I
Oh, no, what
know.
just
It's gonna be good.
like I said, have you tried the Wheel of Time?
Oh yeah, that it's fantastic. It's so good. And if they don't come back out, I'm gonna die. I'm
No, well,
gonna die.
they said that they're doing all the book. They said that they're doing
All
all
right.
13 books. So
They
like,
better.
you know, so when I first watched it, I was kind of upset because it wasn't directly to the book. So I was a little
Yeah.
upset at that.
Yeah.
And but they had like they rushed a few things and they combined it a few things. But I was like, you know what,
But
like,
they did hell of a job. They did
oh
a
my
hell
god,
of a job to
I
cover
love
some
it.
of that stuff that they did. I
Yeah,
agree with you that they rushed or they focused on something that I felt like was kind of not important,
at all.
and yeah, and I was like, oh, it's kind of wasteful. Like that was
Yeah,
wasteful,
like
like
yeah, it would.
Showtime stuff.
Yeah, like I love like so I remember I rewatched the first season to catch up on the second season, and there was a couple of parts where like if you look in the crowd, you'll see like part on Thane somewhere in the crowd a little bit, and then you would see what's his name, Samuel in the crowd.
Mhm.
Like there was one part where he was given a haircut,
Yeah,
and he was because he was watching Ran,
yeah,
so he was given a haircut, and I called my boy, go yo G, yo go to the fifth episode, this part right here, and tell me who it is. He goes, yo, that is crazy.
yeah.
But one of my favorite characters was the Sniffer.
Oh yeah. No.
That was like in the book, he was my favorite character because he goes, my lord, I smell blood and madness and craziness, and they basically combined those two roles where the Sniffer became Elias.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because you know, I just can't wait to see who. Did you read the books?
I only read like a little bit of the books and then kind of fell off.
Oh
And that's why
man,
that's why I will revisit since these aren't out and I want to
yeah.
revisit it, but I feel like I should have waited to ever watch it until like multiples were out. Like that's
Oh
kind of
man, the
where I
books
feel
are
like I know. I am a huge book person too, so I don't
so
have a problem like reading them. I love
yeah.
but it was just like one of those things, it was timing, and
You know
then you'd
what?
like fall off.
If if you love that, check out a book called Mistborn.
Okay. All right.
Mistborn is a amazing book, and it's made by Brendan Sanderson. He went and he wrote the last three books for I believe it's not Jordan Peterson. It's for the original
Mhm.
director, but he left cliff notes for him
Oh,
to kind of put the last three books together. So the last few books are longer and they're more in detailed,
okay.
more into Sanderson style. But the last three books, the way it ends, it's amazing.
It's okay. All right. I'll do it. I
Yeah,
just put it in my
like
notes, like book to read.
yes. Oh, Mistborn is off. It's amazing. So what was that? So I watched that. Of course, I watched Reacher.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and man,
Yeah. Kevin read all like Jack Reacher, like
yeah,
all the books. Like he was
yeah,
huge into that series. Like he loved the book series. So of
yeah,
course we had to watch Reacher because he was like
Re-
obsessed with those books.
yeah. Like,
I don't
and
think people realize like they're different each time. Like
mm,
in the books, it's not the same character like each time.
really, wow,
Yeah, it's like it changes or something. At least that's what he told me. I didn't read the books. I have
yeah,
to ask Kevin again. He was like really into it. He's like, yeah, it never picks up where it left off.
left
Like
off. Yeah,
it like always starts somewhere else. Like really
wow,
like, but he loved every single book. He said they're
yeah,
all
man.
unique and like powerful.
See now you're gonna hold on. Let me now you're gonna go to my Netflix app, man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm gonna get yelled at by some. He's like, "Don't answer your phone when you're on the guest for the pop." I'm like, I know so.
It's okay. I just was on my phone like twice.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, like me and my mom, like we watch All American.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you
Oh
have
man.
Hulu or Prime?
Yep,
All
all
right,
of them.
so did you watch The Boys?
Of course I did.
Okay.
The Boys
That
was
first off, I didn't think I was gonna like that, right? My son's like, you have to watch this. I'm like, that's
yeah,
not my genre. I'm like, that's really not my genre. Like the hero type of like thing, like Spider-Man and all that stuff.
yeah.
Like, I'm not
It's
really into that genre. That was so fucking good.
yep.
I was
And
like, why can't all of this be like this? Like that superhero stuff. Like, I loved it. It was really good.
that's
It was intense.
it was it's super, super, super intense, and you never knew what was gonna happen.
No, never.
Like
Like
I
it
watched
blows you
that.
out of the like your mind. It really does.
I watched that. I watched Invincible. Invincible was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yep.
You
Yeah,
know,
and then, because I tend to watch, like, also, like, a lot of foreign stuff, like, people can't do it because 'cause they're like, "I don't wanna
yeah,
read subtitles," but some of those movies, even though they're, like, low grade made, I love the storylines of them.
it's
They're cool. Like,
it's
there's so much
insane.
on Netflix that is more foreign films than there are probably anything
Well,
else, but
the foreign stuff is better than the American stuff.
yeah, I
You know,
agree.
like the show The Rain.
Oh, that was
The
amazing.
the
The
Rain
Rain
was
was so good.
yeah,
The 100
yeah,
was awesome. I mean,
yeah.
but The 100 was but it was, like, so all over the place for that was a good series. That made
That
I
it was
hated that it ended, but the way they ended it was, like, actually perfect.
yeah,
It was, like,
like
so great.
yeah, like just
Yeah,
going like
that Rain is crazy. Like, those Swedish, like, kids or whatever, and, like, he gets, like, the infection and all that stuff. It's, like, nutso.
yeah, like that's the thing. It's like there's so like I wish that at work I could just binge like
I agree.
you know just binge stuff.
I binge at weird times though. Like as soon as I wake up, like I wake up early enough so I can have like 30 minutes. Like I literally will take 30 minutes early, like to wake up just so I have 30 minutes of
And it's
binge time
just to
just to
get you
get, yeah, to a
showing.
certain point. Yep.
Yeah,
It's nuts. It's like it's like a sickness.
yeah, it really is. You know, like I watched all of the Disney stuff. So I watched Loki. I watched
Yeah.
them all.
Yeah.
Loki was season two was good.
Yeah.
It wasn't as good as one, but
I'm trying to remember what I was watching, but now like I can't find it. It was like it was like it was like a spin-off of that, right? So
yeah,
his dad was what is Loki's dad's name? What the hell? Why is my
Odin,
brain Odin?
Odin.
So it's about Odin and his like son's on Earth, but he doesn't know he doesn't know like that he's half god or
Yeah.
whatever. And like I don't even remember what the name of the show was. Like I think it was called Gods or something. And
Oh, you know what? Me. Oh yes, and it's called like American Gods or something like that, right?
yeah, what happened to that show?
I don't. It had like 2 seasons and then it ended.
Yeah, and then it never came back or something. And that was it was a good show. Like
But
it
you
was
know,
all the
FX.
different gods and
Yeah,
interacting and like coming to Earth and like
yeah,
then if they're not believed in, they get forgotten,
yeah.
type thing, and they start to fade away. It's like a whole thing. And
You know, like American Gods was like FX makes amazing shows.
I know, but they don't ever finish them half the
At
time.
all. Yeah, like what was the one that they had?
Yeah, I think you're right. It was called American Gods. That's what
Yeah,
it's called. And I was like so into it. And like then I kind of like obviously like I think I like their season hadn't come out yet or something. The next
yeah,
one, then I just forgot about it because like moved on. And
yeah.
now
Because
I'm like, that would be cool to watch. Like, where is that show?
you know what? It's like the with Game of Thrones coming out this summer.
I know.
You know, and it's like it's such a long gap, and also like True Detectives. They're coming out in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But True Detective is always hit or miss. It's
And like Black Mirror, are they going
yeah,
to come out
yeah,
with more Black Mirror? They
yeah.
better. It's
Well,
freaking amazing.
it was Black Mirror was great, and the one thing I know about Black Mirror was that it's little short stories.
Yeah, see, I like
Every
this.
season. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I like a lot of different things, but there's certain genres that I just can't get into, and like that's what
yeah.
seems to be the most of that. And I'm like
Like they
damn
had
it,
one show.
Netflix.
They had one show where they would. It used to always time travel. The first
Oh, I know what you're talking about. What the hell is that called? Oh, I know what you're talking about.
the last season had Chris Rock on it.
Yeah, God, what was that show called? I don't know.
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, Jess.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Well,
But Jess, I have to have you on again because I'm going to do a ladies edition where I'm going to
okay.
have about. So I'm going to try to have it on a because I know you're free on Thursdays. So
Well, now it won't
I'm gonna.
matter.
Okay, yeah, true, true.
After June
So
2nd, it won't.
yeah, so you know, um, I did one last month in April
Okay.
where I had a couple girls from the shop come on. So
Nice.
I try to get women on just to talk about their experience in the cigar game. So you
Okay,
know,
cool. I'm
and
game. I'll do
so
it.
when I have it, I'm definitely gonna send you the invite.
All
But
right,
guys,
perfect.
you know, Jess, always, always, always great talking to you. And of course, I'm gonna stay in touch. So that's not a problem. But you
Yeah.
know, so get used to seeing Jess on the pod, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you guys like always. And until next time, you guys know the routine. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Until next time, guys. Peace.